For staying with us here. Now, outside Nigeria, the Prime Minister of Samoa, Fiame Naomi Mata'afa, is now the chair in office of the Commonwealth Heads of Government as the 27th meeting opened on the island of Samoa. She, together with the new Secretary General, will steer the affairs of the organization for 2 years until the next meeting in 2026. In a speech, the Samoan Prime Minister stressed the need for the 56 member countries to work together to forge a united Commonwealth family to avoid suffering in isolation, in line with the theme of this year's meeting, which is One Resilient Common Future, Transforming Our Commonwealth. The head of the Commonwealth, King Charles III, who is also attending for the first time as head of Commonwealth, emphasized the correct connections between member countries and the need to acknowledge the past as a guide to making the right choices for the future in the face of the tensions around the world. This meeting in Samoa, where Fiame Naomi Mata'afa is now the chair in office of the Commonwealth Heads of Government as the 27th meeting opened on the island of Samoa. We'll have an insight into this. Joining us on the news is Professor of International Relations and Strategic Studies, David Aworawo, who is joining me on the news. Thanks so much for joining us, Mr. Aworawo. As the first CHOGM presided over by King Charles, his presence symbolizes a new chapter for the Commonwealth. What kind of expectations do leaders within the Commonwealth, particularly from Africa and the Caribbean, hold for him regarding modernization, inclusivity, and addressing post-colonial dynamics?
Thank you for having me. There isn't much that will change as a result of the coming of King Charles. The objectives of the Commonwealth are clear. Protection of member states, economic development, social development, and related issues. Of course, human capacity development as well, and all that. Of course, conflict resolution where it involves member countries. And don't forget, King Charles, Prince Charles, as it then was, represented the Queen Elizabeth II in a couple of Commonwealth CHOGM meetings, that's Commonwealth Heads of Government meetings. So King Charles is not a stranger to the activity of the Commonwealth and the function of the Commonwealth. He's also very familiar with many of the leaders of the member states. So King Charles is in a familiar terrain. And the objectives of the Commonwealth are there, they are clear. They are not going to change drastically anytime soon. And of course, the Commonwealth is facing challenges. There are countries that are rejecting monarchism, and of course, who also perceive the Commonwealth as a reminder of colonial legacy. But by and large, countries are benefiting from the Commonwealth, and they are supporting it. And so there isn't much change that I expect to take place in the functioning of the Commonwealth.
That's right. Well, with Vice President Shetima's trip delayed due to a broken aircraft windscreen, Nigeria's voice at this significant forum may be less prominent, some argued. But do you think this might affect Nigeria's ability to influence discussions on global issues that matter to it, such as economic partnerships or regional security, even with the ministerial representation?
I don't think there will be more change, really, because Nigeria is not seeking any key position in the Commonwealth. If that were to be the case, of course, the absence of the president and the vice president would be a major issue. But issues of economic development, partnership with Commonwealth member countries, human capacity development, innovation and all that, these are things that the ministerial representation will be able to handle fairly well or effectively. And so I don't expect that the absence of the president and the vice president in this year's CHOGM would in any way negatively affect Nigeria's ability to achieve what it sets out to achieve. By the way, many of these things are symbiotic. Economic partnership will benefit Nigeria, will benefit the other countries. So it doesn't matter much whether it is the president, vice president, or the minister of environment or so that is now heading the delegation at the meeting.
Well, I would have loved to ask more about, ask more questions, especially with the fact that the climate change has also been an issue, especially how it affects the small island nations like Samoa, where it's actually going on. But then we just have to quickly race on because of the time. Professor of International Relations and Strategic Studies, David Aworao, thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.